and I don't mean that literally. Ted Neeley just walked into the studio with his producer, Frank Munoz. And I'm tongue-tied. I'm tongue-tied. Anyway, so we were just talking about, of course, Jesus Christ Superstar. If you're not familiar with Ted Neeley, he was the star of the movie version of Jesus Christ Superstar. He also did many stage versions, many of which I saw. And my sister, I have to, you're going to crack up. So when I was introducing you before, when I started my show and telling people that you were going to be here, I said my sister, she saw the movie 26 times, and the phone immediately started ringing. She said, 26 times? It was 75. I sat through that movie, 2 or 3 times when it was playing. So, yeah, I'm correcting myself, Julie, thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, and so she's a huge fan, and she really wanted to be up here tonight, but radio's...
She's a sweetheart.
She is.
Tell her I said hello, please.
You could say hello right now. Of course she's listening. Of course she's listening.
How are you? Thank you for coming to see the screening. My goodness.
So I just found out. So tomorrow night at the Fremont let me get the time here, at 7 o'clock is a screening of the movie Jesus Christ Superstar with starring Ted Neeley. And are any of the other cast going to be there tomorrow night?
Last night was the last time we worked together for this particular tour. They have other things that they're doing, and this one they just couldn't make it here. I wanted them to, but it's just me.
That's not good enough. Anyway, so tomorrow night, it's a Q&A session with Ted, followed by the film, and it's a new digitized version of the film, so it looks spectacular. I saw it last Sunday, I was saying, in Glendale. And after the screening, Ted will be able to sign autographs and greet fans. He does a great meet and greet, although the line is often very long.
Yeah.
And that's why. And last week when I was there, I was going to talk to you about coming and doing this, but the line was really long. I said,
we always do that after the show. I love talking to people. It's a thrill of my lifetime to find out how people feel about this movie still. And there are times when I'm there till the sun comes up, as long as nobody chases us away. Yeah.
And he's very accessible. I mean, you're so accessible. It's fantastic. It's not often that you run into celebrities, quote unquote.
But that's really the whole purpose for this, so people can see it up on the big screen. And this new digital print that we have looks like it was just shot yesterday.
It's beautiful.
Clean and clear and all that.
It's beautiful.
And then a chance for me to be able to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who's ever seen this movie for making it work the way it has.
And tomorrow night, so this tour this thing with the cast has been going on for how long now?
Oh, we've been doing this off and on for 3 years. Every time I have a break in my normal schedule, Frank and I go out and we make this tour happen, and the screenings are incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you were there.
Yeah.
It gives me a chance to shake hands with everybody and talk about it. And the bottom line is it's something that we didn't know that the people had that kind of an interest. And my goodness, they keep coming back again and again and again.
I know. But you just told me that tomorrow night is the last hurrah for this tour.
Right, that's for this year anyway.
For this year,
because in 2 weeks I have the honor of going back to Italy to pick up our tour over there, and won't be back in America until February of next year. So once we get back into the country, then we will pick it up again in another part of the country and continue.
Now the tour, is that going to be the movie thing too, or are you going to be in live productions over there?
No, we're still doing the screening, and we would be more than happy to do a live production. The only thing that's holding that off is that this show is playing somewhere in the world 24 hours a day, every year, all around the world.
Really?
And the rights have been granted up in Canada. Until that rights dissolves, then we can't do anything. So fortunately, I've been able to be in Italy since February of last year. It's just been outrageous. They asked me to come over to celebrate their 20th anniversary and said, we need you for a 4-week rehearsal and a 6-week run of the show, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah, what a shame you have to be in Italy.
Oh, yeah, it's pathetic.
It's horrible. Must be horrible.
It's terrible. There's no vision of anything over there.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Especially because we're seated in Rome, basically. That's where we sit down, and then we tour all over the country. And no matter where you go in Rome, specifically, every corner you turn, there's a historical marker. There's the Colosseum.
Yeah,
There's the Sistine Chapel.
Is that kind of ironic?
Yes. Yes, very, very. But the people there are so crazy for this film.
Yeah.
Well, for the show.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that they've had any people that were actually in the film, except for when Carl was over there in the 90s. He was there briefly. And this time, it went, as I said, from that February 1 month idea to still just carrying on. Barry Denon, who played Pontius Pilate, and Yvonne Elliman, who played Mary, came over and were with me for 6 weeks there. And boy, did we have a wonderful time.
Yeah, I bet. That must be great.
It was the first time that we'd been able to do it sequentially since we made the film together.
Wow.
We've done one-nighters to benefit people in children's theater.
The screening?
Yeah. No, but I mean, we actually done the show live sometimes.
Oh,
one
really?
night in various areas whenever they're available, the three of us. So it's just remarkable to be able to look in the eyes of the people that have seen this movie and are touched by it so much and moved by it, and be able to hear their stories.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
Well, I have tons of, well, not tons, but I have a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask you. But first, I want to play a track from the movie. It originally came, Jesus Christ Superstar originally came out as a rock opera on a record before the production was staged.
We call that the Brown Bible.
The Brown, that's right. And I actually had that, and of course fell in love with it then, and then the movie came out, and it was all hell broke loose, so to speak. No pun intended.
All the dogs barked.
Yeah. And so we're going to play the overture from this new CD that I just got. That is the Japanese recording of the movie Jesus Christ Superstar, and it's digitally remastered and all that kind of. It's supposed to sound amazing. I'm sure it will. So I just have to remember what track I put it on, So we're going to play that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Ted some more. I'm going to ask him questions. I have a litany of questions that I wrote down.
And I have a litany of answers for you.
Very quickly this afternoon while I was doing my homework. All right, 97.3 The Rock, Lisa Ellman on Box Chocolates here with Ted Neeley. And here is the overture from the film Jesus Christ Superstar. Okay, so we're back with Ted Neeley, Jesus. So here's my first question. Something like that. What does it bother you when people refer to you as that? Because when I came in tonight, I told Hal, yeah, Jesus is coming to the studio, and does that kind of, or do you just embrace that whole thing?
I learned a long time ago to embrace your Jesus, I was strange in the beginning. People were calling me that, but over the years I've understood why, because they tell me that because of this film and the concept of this film made them find their spirituality. So they say, you are my Jesus. You see?
Wow.
And that's all ages. I mean, little 4-year-old children all the way up to grandma and grandpa, they're all saying that. And the reason is that Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to look at the man called Jesus of Nazareth in the last 7 days of his life as seen through the eyes of his contemporaries, all of whom saw him as a man. Nobody had a clue until crucifixion and resurrection. So you're looking at a human being who's sticking to his beliefs and hoping that he's doing the right job and wondering if it's working. And he's got 7 days to live to talk about that. See? So it's the human element that they related to.
Right. Yeah, I was talking about that to my dad and my sister the other night. It's about the man. It's not about the religion per se.
Yeah, and it's not challenging the deity at all. It just says, okay, he walked among us as a man, and his friends saw him as a man, and here's a look at the man in the last 7 days of his life.
Yeah. So one of the other questions that I had was, has there ever been any, because it's about Jesus and as a Jew and an atheist. I love the movie and I love the story and I love the music. Has there ever been any conflict that you've run into with people about, like, has anybody ever protested outside?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When we did the first production, which was Broadway, the very first ever theatrical production of Superstar, 52nd and Broadway, every single night was a riot.
Really?
They were 50 people deep with posters and signs and screaming and hollering, trying to stop us from going into that theater because it was ultimate blasphemy as far as they were concerned. You see?
Wow.
And as we were pushing our way through the crowd to get in the backstage door to go to work, I would say, excuse me, but have you seen our show? And always the answer is no.
Right, of course.
So I would say, please, come in tonight as my guest. Watch the show. Stay afterwards. Tell me what you don't like. Maybe we can address that. And they were so surprised to hear me say that. So they would come and see the show. They waited afterwards in the lobby. The minute I walked through the lobby door, they were, I love your show, man, it's great. And then they would come back and bring their families and friends. So the protesters became the promoters of the show, literally. The fact that all that crowd was there doing crazy stuff every night attracted the media.
Yeah, right.
So that made people go, what's going on down there? That's what brought people to see us.
Wow.
And that went on everywhere we played, no matter where.
Does it still happen?
No, thank goodness, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the occasion. There was a person just last night, as a matter of fact, where we played last night, which shall remain nameless, who was really hitting me hard with the elements, you see. But I
like shouting out?
No. Very, very polite and privately, but I'm saying really nailing me verbally with what they had to say. And I respect that. They have their right to their opinion. And then they saw the screening. They hadn't seen it either.
Right.
They saw the screening.
Sure.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Walked away happy.
What's not to love?
Yes. But that's the key.
Yeah.
The sad part that we can protest something that we don't even know what it is. But the key thing was they protested most vehemently the fact it was called Jesus Christ Superstar. And that Jesus was singing with a rock band. They couldn't relate to that. But now this is used to teach religion and philosophy and faith to children and all forms of religion. So it works.
That's cool. Yeah, because that would have been something that I would have been concerned about. What about, why do you think it's attracted such, I mean, it sort of waxes and wanes in terms of making a comeback, and then it kind of goes away for a while, but for, what, 35 years?
Came out in 1973.
Is that 35 years?
42.
Oh, jeez.
Since the film. You don't have to call me geez.
So it's like a cult, though. It's like this cult of people, and I know my sister and I are a couple of them. What do you think? Do you think it's the religious aspect, or do you think it's the incredible music of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, or a combination? Or
it is a combination. Without question, the whole thing lives upon the music and the lyrics. And Tim Rice, in his ultimate brilliance, went into the first 4 books of the New Testament, primarily the book of John, to pull out the storyline of the last 7 days. Wrote these wonderful elements of prose and poetry, and then Andrew put melodies to all of that. So simple that little children can sing it. I have had people send me videos of 2-year-old children and even younger in their diapers walking around in the living room with the movie on singing Hosanna, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a catchy tune.
You hear it, you sing
tune. It kind of reminded me of, I was kind of making an analogy to, like, Gilbert and Sullivan and Lennon and McCartney with Tim Rice, Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean, it was a brilliant match.
Yes. Yes, and it's lasted all this time, and it never grows old, and I can say that from the experience. I've been, like I said, in Italy for the last almost 2 years now, performing it live on stage. I'm the only non-Italian in the company.
Wow.
Everybody sings it in English. They want it in English in that country because that's the way it was written.
Right.
It doesn't match up to Italian in terms of the way the music is written, so they want to hear it in English. Everybody sings it in English. The idea that we were able to touch people around the world spiritually without getting involved in the religious aspect. And I have grown to learn that it is the human spirituality that connects us all. No matter where we believe or we don't believe, where we come from doesn't matter. We all have a connection because, after all, we are brothers and sisters, if you will, always.
And I think music really connects people as well. I mean,
music is the
always
language
connects
of
people.
the world, no
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to play. Ted has just come out with actually, was this a 2014 release? An album called Rock Opera, and it's called Rock Opera because that's sort of where he got his start. Right?
Definitely where.
He played Tommy, and
I was in Hair first.
and he was in Hair, which, of course, is another one of my, go-to things. I saw Hair at the Aquarius Theater in Hollywood 4 times.
I got to meet Claude Hooper Bukowski in Hair. It was wonderful.
Yeah, Claude.
Yes. Hair first, and then Superstar after that, then Tommy, then Sgt. Pepper after the film.
Oh, and that reminds me, I heard you were in Django Unchained.
Yes,
and
yes.
See, I didn't recognize you. My sister said, yeah, he was in Django Unchained. I was like, who was he?
Yes, my own family go, are you in that?
But so, a little off topic, how was it working with Tarantino? Because I love him.
Absolutely incredible, and not off topic at all. And he's the world's biggest Superstar fan, confessed openly.
Really?
In fact, every day I was on the set, anytime that I was in a sequence, and he would say cut, scene ends, instantly the music plays always. But when I was there, they played Superstar.
That's
and
so funny.
Quentin and the entire company would do the choreography and dance while they were setting up the next few sequences.
That is so funny.
Yeah, he loves it, and he's fantastic to work with.
Yeah.
Great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Laughs louder than anybody. Keeps you laughing on the set all the time.
That's great.
Fully collaborative with everyone.
That's great. Well, I'm going to have to see the movie again and look for you. Who do you play?
One of the worst people in the company.
Are you like on the plantation there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We are the bad guys. We are the trackers. And I've known Quentin since he was 16 years old, and most of the people in the film same way. We've known him forever. And he just called several of us that were hanging out.
Yeah.
Called and said, hey, we got some horrible characters in this film. Would you guys come and play these characters? So we did. We played the guys who tracked down the slaves who tried to escape and drag them back, and either they live
Get
or they
the
die.
dogs
And
on
you know
them
what we...
Yeah.
Whew, horrible.
Wow.
Horrible stuff.
That must have been a blast, though.
But we had a great time. We were in New Orleans in the swamps the whole time we shot it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's great. So anyway, that kind of got me off track of this rock opera
No
CD
problem.
that I'm going to play a couple of cuts from. And one of them, the first one I'm going to play is the Who's cut from Tommy.
It's called
My glasses
See
back
Me,
on.
Feel
See Me, Feel Me, Listening to You. That's the, I believe that's the last song of the
Piece of the show.
Yes, of the show. Thank you. I lose my words sometimes.
No problem.
And then we're going to play a song called God's Gift to the World, which is a duet with Carl Anderson, who is no longer with us. But it's one of those, those duet albums where they sort of track in the person that's not here anymore. So a couple of songs from Ted Neeley, his rock opera CD on 97.3 The Rock. And again, I just have to make sure which CD player I put it into. Okay, here we go. Carl Anderson doing with Ted Neeley doing God's Gift.
God's Gift.
God's Gift to the World. And so we also have now Frank Munoz, who has produced this new CD and also is working on the tour.
Hey Lisa, I'm also the tour promoter of these Jesus Christ Superstar screenings. We've done about 80 of these things across the country in the last 3 years. And tomorrow night is our final one of 2015. So if you're on the fence out there and you don't know if you want to get out there, get out there. Come on out and check it out. I hear the Fremont Theater is the historic place around here to see a movie. So
it is. It's really cool looking.
So there are no excuses.
So tomorrow night, here are the details. It's a digitally remastered print of the film, which came out in 1973, with a special appearance by Ted Neeley, who's here. Tomorrow, Friday night, October 2nd at 7 o'clock, there's a Q&A with Ted, followed by the film. And I have to say, when I was at the screening last week, those really horrible, uncomfortable chairs. Just after the movie started, a woman sat down next to me and she said, "Do you mind if I sit here?" I said, "If you don't mind me singing, I don't mind you sitting here," because that's what I do. I was just kind of rocking out and singing, and my sister and I both were she didn't seem to mind. So you can do that if you go see the movie. Nobody cares. I almost got up and did a Rocky Horror Show thing, where I did the choreography of the movie as well.
Actually, I don't know if you even know this, Ted. Tomorrow night is considered an official sing-along to Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, God, we'll have to be there.
So that's even more incentive to come down and sing along. What's the buzz?
It's so much fun. I had so much fun. It was just a good time. So tomorrow, he's going to be signing autographs and doing a meet and greet. So it's the Fremont Theater tomorrow night at 7. That's 1035 Morro Bay in San Luis. The tickets, there are limited VIP packages still available. And there's a pre-screening VIP reception. That's a meet and greet with Ted. And you can go to the website. This is a long website. tinmanmerchandising.com. Is that right?
Here's the easiest way to go.
Easier way.
TedNeeley.com.
There you go.
And hit the web store button, and you're on it.
Take you right there.
TedNeeley.com. That is so much easier to remember. So there are VIP packages where you get to hang out with Ted for a while before the movie and sit in his very close proximity during the movie. And general admission is $14, and if you are a member of the Slow Film Society, it's $12. Tickets are available in advance. You can probably get in touch with the Fremont. If you want more information, if you want a copy of the CD that I just played, which is rock opera, you can go to tedneeley.com as well. There are CDs available as well as at iTunes.
And you know what? On iTunes, actually, you may get a little more bang for your buck. There is an extra bonus track of Ted singing Gethsemane from a 1997 performance in Philadelphia, which turned out to be the final time that Ted and Carl performed the show on stage. So it's Ted singing Gethsemane, and it's incredible. And you can only get that bonus track on iTunes, so head over.
So go to iTunes. If you're not a techno idiot like me, you can go to iTunes and get all kinds of stuff. So we're before we run out of time, you mentioned Ted doing the thing with Carl, and I read about that you sang at his memorial.
Yes.
That must have been just
It was
heart-wrenching.
Absolutely amazing. We did it at a place in Los Angeles called the Agape. It's a church that Carl belonged to. And so many people came to pay their respects. So many songs were sung. Wonderful people were there. And it was the most wonderful celebration of life that we could have had in his honor. And as a result, his spirit's always with us. We can just feel him around. I swear there are times when I'm on stage performing and I can feel him talking to me. Or he was an amazing dear friend. And still is, even though he's not here.
Yeah, that's nice.
We all miss him terribly.
I did meet him once. Those of you who heard my Life in Music show know that I spoke about that incredible meeting and driving him to his hotel, which was like, meeting, well, not John Lennon, but close. But so here's just a kind of weird question that I'm just going to throw at you.
Nothing's weird, sweetheart.
Have you ever met the Pope?
Interesting you said that. Yes, being in Rome that close, so we play, when we're in Rome, actually, we played a place called the Il Teatro Sistina. It's because it's only like 3 blocks down the street from the Sistine Chapel and the Vatican and all that. Yes, I did meet the Pope while I was there.
This new Pope Francis?
Yes, Papa Francesco, we call him.
Did he see the movie?
No, yes, not with us there, but he saw
seen the movie?
He grew up watching the film. No question.
Really?
Yes. And he quoted Pope Paul VI, who was the Pope when the movie came out in 1973. Mr. Jewison, our magnificent director, was able to... Yes,
we need to mention Mr. Jewison,
Norman Jewison was able to set up a screening with Pope Paul VI because of all those protests we talked about earlier.
Right.
Because he was afraid that might happen with the film, and he wanted to get either a blessing or a complete rejection. Pope Paul watched it with Norman Jewison, and he loved the film. He said, Mr. Jewison, I love the fact that you're looking at Jesus as a man in the last 7 days of his life. The music is magnificent. I believe that music will introduce people to Christianity more so than anything ever has around the world. So Norman had that blessing to go. And when I met Papa Francesco, he made reference to that. He said, I agree with Pope Paul VI.
Wow.
I feel the same way. It's wonderful. He said, you know, we do the same thing, you and I. Keep up the good work. He said, as a matter of fact, you should change your name from Ted to Papa Teodoro.
Really? And then you get
Wonderful.
to wear a...
Oh, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful man. Just
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing guy.
we've all just seen him in
Yeah.
America this week.
Yeah.
So that's the man.
Pretty
Nothing
amazing
phony
guy.
about that. That's exactly the way he is.
Wow, that's cool. That's really
Yes.
cool. Okay, so I have a couple other questions. A lot of actors can't watch themselves on screens. They never see their movies. They can't stand to watch themselves. You have to sit there night after night in the theater watching this movie. How does that make you feel? Do you kind of, are there scenes that you think, oh man, I did awesome in that scene, and scenes where you think, I might have not done that
But
if I had it.
I must honestly say to you, I'm not watching me. I'm watching the movie. There were so many wonderful performances throughout that piece, and what the advantage I have of being able to see it many times is each time I watch it, I see different characters, and now I'm following the same character, the arc of their character, all the way through to the end, and it's so wonderful to be able to watch my friends.
Yeah.
But seeing the movie is as if we were a family who went to Israel and we took a home movie, you see, and that's what it's like, seeing all those inside moments that I know that happened before and after.
Yeah, that
So
must be.
I'm not
that
watching
must be
me.
interesting.
I'm watching Yvonne and Barry
Yeah.
and Carl and all the guys who did everything in this movie. And you know, Barry and Kurt Yodgen were with me on this tour. They're
Right,
not here
right.
tomorrow night, but they were up until last night.
Yeah.
And every time that we do these screenings, we have anyone who's available and nearby that can come to the screenings. Frank and I are always there, but often we have other people. So the experience of this movie, I see now. I didn't know in the beginning because I hadn't seen it when people would say that it's changed their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It is that wonderful celebration of human spirituality, how we're all connected.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. And to see it now with this new digital print, it looks like it was shot yesterday.
It was spectacular.
Crystal
it really
clear
was.
and clean,
Yeah,
and you
crystal
can see
clear.
the entire country. There
Yeah.
are times when I swear we're there at the Dead Sea, we're looking all the way to New York City.
And
you
the
know?
locations are just spectacular.
Breathtaking. Norman Jewison did that.
Yeah.
Norman Jewison produced it. He wrote the screenplay. It was all his concept of people who were friends.
And you were telling me at the beginning about when you found out that you.
Oh yeah, we're in the
that
film.
you got. That
Yes,
you
as
were
a matter
in
of
the
fact,
part.
the photograph of Carl and myself that's on this rock opera CD was the night before we opened the show at the Los Angeles Amphitheater, the first national tour of Jesus Christ Superstar, and Mr. Jewison called us the night before and told us that we were going to be in his film. He said, but you can't tell anybody because I haven't worked it out to get you out of this particular production yet, so just want you to know. Now, we're going to opening night, in a big opening night blast party afterwards, and we can't tell anybody. So that photograph is the two of us having our private celebration in the middle of everybody else just going crazy.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
And it's on the inside of the CD, so you have to get the CD to be able to see this picture.
Yes.
So you get the news that you have just been cast in the movie. So that is sort of, I have another question that sort of ties into that. You know, you read about so-and-so, all these actors trying out for these parts, and they
Yes.
don't get them. And so
Yes.
who was your competition? Do you know?
Yes, but I refused.
Can you say?
I refused to say
dang
whom,
it.
simply because it had nothing to do with one's ability to act or sing, according to Mr. Jewison.
Mm-hmm.
He said that when he saw our screen test, fortunately Carl and I got to do a screen test together, you see. When he saw our screen test, he said, I saw in the two of you an honest human friendship that I didn't
Chemistry.
see with
Yeah.
anybody else. He said,
Really?
I'm sure the actors could maybe eventually create that, but you guys had it going in. He said that was the most important ingredient for the Judas character, the Jesus character, to be friends.
Connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, then it didn't really hurt that you both could sing fairly well.
Yeah, yeah. So had you known him before this production?
Carl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were friends long before the film, and that's what made it happen.
And even before the stage production?
Yes. That's what made it happen. We had pretty much parallel universes as children. I in Texas, he in the D.C. area, Washington, D.C. area, playing with bands, and we crisscrossed and so on. So, and the fact that we got a chance to work together actually before we were in the film, doing those two characters, we were prepared. We just knew the material. We could do it with our eyes closed, and it was fantastic. Everything about it was fantastic. And our friendship grew so much stronger while we were there in Israel.
Yeah.
Stayed still today.
Yeah.
He's been gone for a while, so we miss him terribly.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then I read that when you were getting whipped,
yes,
your mother had to walk out of the theater.
Exactly.
She couldn't stand to see
when we had the very first screening of the first editors.
And I don't want to give the movie away, but there is a part where you're in trouble.
Jesus was subjected to 39 lashes from Pontius Pilate. That was his way of divorcing himself from the responsibility, because Pontius Pilate felt that he'd done nothing wrong. Yet people were yelling, "Crucify him!" So he said, "Well, to keep you vultures happy, I shall flog him." See, and he counts 39, and Jesus takes 39 lashes and collapses, and so on. So my mom, bless her heart, was there when it was the first director's cut that we all viewed. And when the lashes started, she just had to leave. She couldn't stand. She couldn't sit there and watch that.
And the Josh Mostel character's hysterical in that scene.
King Herod.
You must go see this movie. If you've never seen it before, you must go tomorrow night to the Fremont to catch this movie and meet Ted, because he's a fabulous, warm, nice guy.
Oh, thank you.
And Frank, also really nice guy.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
And is there anything that I've neglected to say about the screening or
the one thing that we will be showing everyone who comes out tomorrow is a trailer of a brand new documentary that's coming out. It's called Superstars, and what it is it's incredible footage, behind the scenes footage of these guys making the movie in Israel in 1972, as well as footage of this past April in New York City, when the whole cast and Norman Jewison reunited once again in New York City for one night. And this will be coming out in December, but you can pre-order your DVD now at tedneeley.com. And it's going to be an incredible experience for anybody who's a Superstar fan.
And of course, it's except for Carl, because he's no longer with us, but we dedicate, as Frank will always say at every screening, we dedicate everything we do to Carl.
And there is a preview of this documentary before the movie actually begins. And, everybody loves behind-the-scenes footage of movies and stuff, and seeing the personal aspects of the people in the film and all of that kind of stuff. So it's pretty amazing. And you can order that, also pre-order that at tedneeley.com as well.
That sounds impressive. Whoever that Neeley guy is, he's got
he's all over the place. He's got a .com, and wait a minute, he's also got a Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook.com, Ted Neeley 8, Ted Neeley /
And if you go to it right now, you're in our last post, Lisa.
I am?
Yes.
You are.
Woohoo!
Yes.
So let me say that again. It's Facebook.com / Ted Neeley 8.
Yes.
Now I got it.
And I love going on there and talking to people. Frank puts up goodies every day, so does my daughter Tessa. They're always posting wonderful things for us.
And I have to say, your daughter Tessa is also so accessible and so nice and just so helpful. I mean, I emailed her yesterday about this. And it's like, wow, they can make it tomorrow night? That's so amazing.
She's a sweetheart. We're so proud of her. She does a magnificent job.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. I can't even tell you how much this means to me.
And you are going to be there
sister.
with your sister Julie tomorrow night.
Yes, we are, and I'm going to try and drag my husband along, too.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, because it's just so much fun. And Mr. Bill is coming up. I can hear him rustling around in the hallway there. He's filling in for Drew tonight. I don't know what he's got going on tonight. Mr. Bill? Oh, he can't hear me. Maybe
Bill,
that's not
are you
him.
there? Is that Bill right there?
What do you got?
Well, if you just had
Bill has
Jesus
something.
on, maybe Bill will have Linda Blair on, and we can talk a little exorcist. Right? So yin and a yang.
All right, so I'm gonna play 2 more cuts from this new Japanese version. It's not in Japanese. It's Japanese pressing, I guess.
Yeah.
Of the Jesus Christ Superstar soundtrack. And again, I want to thank Ted and Frank for coming in here on such short notice
Our
and
pleasure,
letting me
dear.
do this in my little rinky-dink, wonderful community-supported radio station, 97.3 The Rock. I'll be back Saturday with the, not the box chocolates, this is box chocolates. I'll be back Saturday with the Good Dogma radio show. And stay tuned now for Mr. Bill coming up right after these songs.
See everybody tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the Fremont. Be there.